Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's 10 at 10. A little delayed today, but that's because our power went out. And what's worse than getting quarantined at home is having no power and having no Wi Fi. That's the problem. So let's take the questions today. We have quite a few lined up, so we will get through them. I promise. Okay, so while I'm live on here and you have follow-up questions, please go ahead and type it in our feed, and we should be able to get back with your questions. Okay. First up, it's a salt delay question. All right. The question asks, let's see. It was from our episode 9 on Wikipedia YouTube channel. Please explain the delayed salt method. Actually, when I was in the field, there were many reasons for different plants to do salt delay. Okay. So the commonality between all industrial plants and why they delay salt is because they want to reduce the wear and tear on the mixer. I know that's a really, really, really weird answer, but it is true. We all know how much industrial mixers cost, okay? And the upkeep of industrial mixers is expensive. So you want to reduce the wear and tear on these mixers as much as you can, all right? If you put the salt at the beginning of the mixing time, your total energy taken is going to be much more significantly. Okay, so we ran studies on this. I've actually also seen torque reports from the Ishikiri mixers. So if you put salt up front and you mix it, you see the torque, it goes like that, right? So the entire area is much bigger than if you start with a delayed salt. A delayed salt torque would look a little bit, and then when you add the salt, it just goes up. Okay, the total area or the total energy required to develop dough is actually lower for a delayed salt action. So the delayed salt action is really for the process rather than the formulation. Okay. If you read our salt topic, just look up salt at bakerpedia.com. You will know that it is a huge dough strengthening ingredient. Okay. Mainly because it does something to the gluten network. Okay. And in industrial baking, you want that network enforcement later on in the game, usually about 3 minutes before the end of mixing, you add the salt in. Okay. And the salt delay is one thing in your toolbox that you can use in terms of getting a final dough property at the dough pump. Okay. So if you want a softer dough property, pull that salt delay further away from the end. If you want a tougher and more resilient dough property at the dough divider, pull it closer. So from 5 minutes, get it closer to 2 minutes to the end of salt delay, end of mixing time. Okay. So you will see a significant difference in dough rheology at 2 minutes before the end of mixing versus 5 minutes before the end of mixing. Okay, and you can use that in your toolbox to really adjust for your rheology of the dough before it goes into the dough pump. Okay. And one of the other reasons why I see salt delays in certain plants is mainly because they've been taught to do that for the longest time. You know, newer mixers might not need salt delays, so it really depends on the age of your mixer. The older it is, the better a salt delay is going to help. Okay, and I've seen modernized plant that did completely away, no, gone completely away from salt delays, because what happens in a salt delay? Your worker might forget to put in the salt. That's the problem. And when that happens, and when you don't have good protocols in place, you will not know which bread that you send out has no salt. Okay? You will only know when the customer complains why your bread tastes bad. So that's one of the reasons why some of the plants has gone away from salt delay. You know, it's because of newer mixers and problems in the quality system. Okay? I hope that helps. Let's go to the next question. All right. Why is elongation of grain cells a sought after characteristic? So elongation of grain cells is sought after only in artisanal bread. Okay. And that is one of the biggest characteristics of handmade hydration bread. Okay, the ability for the cells to elongate so nicely. Okay, I really don't have any other good explanation other than people look at it as more artisanal, right? And I think from the industrial point of things, you're trying to figure out how to manipulate your process so that you can provide an elongated cell structure, which is really, really difficult without a stress-free system. Okay, and sometimes certain stress-free system wouldn't be able to give you that. All right, unless you intently put in an air cell in there. Okay, so this is really a difficult thing for industrial bakers to do. So that's why I believe it's sought after, because it's perceived as handmade and more quality. Okay, I hope that helps. Oven temperature page. Hello, I want to know if the vaporization in oven affects the texture of my brioche. So I need this person to give me a little bit more information on what the texture means. Okay, does it affect the texture? I mean, oven spring, more springy, or something else? I don't know what it is. More crispy, more chewy. So not very sure, but yes, oven temperature, oven humidity really affects oven spring and the bake out. So yes, it does affect texture to a certain extent, but the particular texture really depends on what you're looking for. Okay, so a little ambiguous on the answer on this. I'm sorry, because I really don't know what you mean by texture of your brioche. So let's continue this conversation on the forums page. I would really like to dig a little deeper on where what you're asking. Okay, this is an interesting question. Good day. Wow, this person really has manners. Thank you so much. Good day to you too. If I am using a liquid yeast, how do I ensure consistency? Believe it or not, that is a very, very typical question. Okay. Meaning, if I am using a flow meter, how can I ensure that I get the correct amount of yeast in each dispense every single time? You know, a lot of engineers ask that question because sometimes you get, issues with fermentation times or final proof times, you always like go back and, well, everything's the same. Could it be the yeast? Could I be dispensing the right amount of yeast? So it does happen quite frequently, actually. The best way you can do that is by getting a handheld density meter. Okay, so you should, if there's no sugar in there, if it's just water and yeast, that density meter would be able to work better. If that's sugar in there, then maybe you might want to measure other things like the alcohol production, and make sure those numbers, whatever you're recording, stays consistent. That's the only way you can know that it is consistent. A handheld density meter. You can also do bricks. I think, I'm not sure. Some people might correct me, but bricks might help. It's the total solids. Okay. I don't think you can look into the amount of yeast cells and count the yeast cells in there, because there are a gazillion yeast cell in that amount of yeast slurry. Not kidding. So definitely look into a density meter. And also, if you have a lab, a real fermenter by Chopin should be able to measure the quantity and the consistency within batches. Okay. Again, I'm going to put this particular discussion into the forums, and hopefully the community should be able to find you an answer. Okay. For pizza. Frozen pizza. Par-baked, then frozen. Would you recommend frozen dough ingredients or regular ingredients mentioned above? If you're not baking from the dough form, don't worry about that. If you're baking from a par-baked product, treat it like a regular bread product. Okay, use regular bread or pizza ingredients. If you're having any par-baked pizza issues, your problems are going to be at the baking and the bake-off stage. Okay, so again, we are going to put this question on the forums, and our community is going to continue to contribute to this. Okay, all right. Last question on our queue today is going to be one that I am going to be privately consulting, because it involves a lot of things, and it goes beyond the scope of today's questions and answers. It's about Miguel, if you are here listening, and your cookies and the rancidity, huge issue. I see this issue with honey and rancidity all the time. So let's talk about solutions. Give us a call, follow the link, and let's talk about this, because there is something really quick and cheap that you can do about combating rancidity. Okay, so we'll talk more. And that is all for today's Answer 10 at 10. And I will see you back tomorrow on Wisdom Wednesdays. And on Thursday at Thought Leadership Thursday, we're going to talk to Dr. Gary Chiffon. And he is the inventor of ChemX cleaning systems. It's an innovative cleaning system that is focused on sustainability and enzyme solutions. Okay, really, really interesting product. And I hope you can join me on Thursday to really see how this innovator has innovated in this unique niche. All right. Thought Leadership Thursday. Okay. All right, everyone. Be safe, and we will see you soon again. Bye.